Good morning and welcome to day 2 of the CHEC conference. My name is Cheryl Alvarado and this session is Returning to HALE, Adapting to a New Environment. A question and answer session will be available at the end of the presentation. To submit a question, click the link in the YouTube chat box. This presentation is being recorded and will be available on the ESU CHEC 2020 website a few days after the conference ends. Now I'd like to introduce our presenters from Kansas State University.
Thank you, Cheryl. We wanted to start with a new title just because things have changed since we submitted our abstract so long ago. And our title is Catastrophe to COVID-19, formerly known as Returning to HALE, Adapting to a New Environment. We're going to begin by introducing ourselves.
Hi, I'm Waldo Berry from Kansas State University. I work at the IT Help Desk as a coordinator and operations manager.
Hi, I'm Anthony Cobb, and I'm the IT manager for the help desk and equipment checkout and university operators at Kansas State University.
And my name is Fred Darko. I'm the technical training coordinator for the IT Help Desk.
And Rebecca Gould, and at the time I was director of the Information Technology Assistance Center for Kansas State. So what we want to do in the next 45 minutes, we have about 4 goals. We want to share a little bit about our past, our plan for the return to HALE. We want to talk a little bit about our slight diversion as it relates to COVID-19, where we are now in our quest, and what we appreciate and the lessons that we learned. And Fred's going to get the PowerPoint started, and we hope to leave time for question and answers. So just a little bit to set the stage, we have a few pictures of HALE prior to May 22nd, 2018. And this is the IT Help Desk. It's on the 2nd floor of HALE. It was on the 2nd floor of HALE. In the total space, there were 38 staff and 60 students. And like I said, we were on the 2nd floor, and you can just see how gorgeous the space is. We call this the McDonald's window because people just could come up and they would either get phone, remote support, or email, walk-ins, etc. In the help desk area, there were 6 FTEs and 30 students that rotated in and out throughout the day and week. Our story begins on the afternoon of May 22nd, 2018 at about 4:10 p.m. when a fire resulted on the roof of HALE as workers were hot sealing the roof. Simultaneously, CHEC was being hosted by K-State at the K-State Olathe campus, so we were just glad it wasn't on the Manhattan campus. In all, about 550,000 square feet received some level of water and smoke damage. And this is one of the drawings from the fire department. And you can see the pink shows that it's 100% totally damaged, and the green is what was deemed okay. And it also shows you the older part of the building. We refer to it as the 1927 building, where most of the pink you see was the total devastation. By 8:30 the next morning, the help desk was operational at an off-campus site. 1 week later, the help desk was relocated to the K-State Student Union, and we can't thank the union staff enough for all they've done for us. We're going to show you a few of the challenges. You can see this is a little blurry, but you can see the extent of the damage. A lot of the ceiling, the plaster was on the floor, lots of water, it stunk, there was mold, water on the floor, it was squishy as you walk through, and you had to mask up to go in with gloves and bags, etc. So our challenges at the time were the destruction of almost every piece of equipment the staff owned or we checked out. All our furniture was destroyed, every piece of paper, and the mold was beginning to appear. And the unknowns at the time on May 22nd after 4:10 or May 23rd were the people, the space, the equipment, services, the support for campus, and oh, by the way, orientation and enrollment was 2 weeks away.
We managed to arrange the help desk in a new location. Thankfully, our K-State Student Union, starting in June, we went to a temporary location. We had about 1/10 of our normal space to pack all of the people that we originally had in HALE into approximately 2 rooms. We arranged the help desk in such a way that we still had walk-in phones and remote support as needed. We also embarked on several major projects which couldn't be halted, which included deployment of Duo to approximately 77,000 employees. Also, we had to support a VPN update, and we had to arrange for and provide training for our new CRM for our customer relation management system for the university. Also, we had additional software and equipment requirements that had to go out, and we still needed to train students. We had students in the process of being trained to replace other consultants who were going to be graduating. Continued all that. And also we had to update the campus on the status of the help desk, make sure they knew about the availability of our resources. All of this in the midst of a major IT reorganization, which had also started beginning of the year. So we also met with the union staff at least once per month to keep them updated on our plans and what work we needed to have done and to work out any kinks. And they were very flexible, and they really made all of this possible.
Okay, and while we were there in the union, we were meeting bi-weekly with the library to keep updated on the status of what we lost, what was going on structurally, what time expectations could we have, and what equipment we lost, because we lost a lot of equipment, well, all of our equipment in that. These meetings soon transitioned into planning for the return of the help desk and library staff to HALE. And by June, we had group meetings in various capacities with architects, with the architects firm, and met with them on the innovation committee and on the help desk committee planning. We planned for the look and feel of the renovated space, inventoried equipment remaining in HALE, and removed limited belongings and ensure that equipment was appropriately destroyed. And that was a very nasty job, and spent a lot of hours in there with Dr. Gould going through equipment that was lost and destroyed, and smoky and nasty in there at the time, and hot and humid in there at the time because there was no air conditioning in the building when we did this. Simultaneously, we were holding meetings to determine how to best co-locate back in the library with the library's help desk. We listened to better understand what their concerns were about co-locating and the types of questions that each group managed. We had to answer questions about use cases as far as what scenarios we handled at the help desk and what scenarios they handled at their help desk. What questions do we get that can be answered by both the help desk and the library's help desk? What questions can't be answered by either group and should not be answered for different reasons, like we have access to confidential information, social security numbers, and certain things at the help desk. We could basically see everything about everybody at the help desk, and just felt strange about somebody that didn't have true accountability having access to that. And how are we going to handle security related issues such as password changes? Which again, like I said, will require us giving them access to a lot of confidential information, which we didn't feel comfortable doing at the time. Our thoughts after the conclusion of all this, that there were 2 areas that we could actually both desks could actually answer, and that's basically directional issues and printing issues. And we hope going forward, since we'll be co-located, that we'll be able to develop areas that, or see things that we can both answer simultaneously.
On August 28th, 2019, HALE first floor opened and construction continued all around the rest of HALE, basement, first, second, third, and fourth and fifth floors. So while we had these really nice new area, we had nice seating areas, lounging areas, there was construction going on all over the place. We couldn't open anything but the first floor location. We split the hours for our student workers at the help desk with HALE Library to provide what we called a concierge service, working with the library staff. As Anthony mentioned, we would answer some questions and the library staff would answer other questions depending on if it was technical or if it was library related or research related, just depending on the situation. The first floor of HALE contained some really nice large open spaces. As you can see over on the left-hand side, next to the columns, we've got lots of glass doors and collaboration rooms. So very relaxed, very open atmosphere. It was very nice. There were 8 computers and 3 print stations. So it was a very limited opening. And the difficulty was to ensure that our students from the help desk answered those IT questions, such as the wireless or some other common situations that we would have available out in a public arena such as that. And the library was answering the questions that are specific to the library. Again, it was the first chance that we had to collaborate with the library. So it was our trial and error to get ready for moving back into HALE, working with the librarian staff, so that way we could better understand different ways to work together. There were some bumps in the process, but we were able to get things smoothed together as the semester progressed and things worked out very well.
Well, even though it was a busy time, fast forward us to August 2019, going all the way through March 2020, which gets us closer to getting ready to move back to HALE. Construction is still going on. So just think drywall, painting, carpet, furniture installation, computers, printer installations, you name it. It was all going on in the library on the second floor. So by March 1, we had approximately 2 weeks to prepare for our move. We toured our spaces, planned for our move, worked with telecom on telephones and data connections and everything. In addition, we worked with the library on the last minute to touch on touches and organizations for our move-in spaces that we had to get into. So we had to do a really detailed walkthrough of the whole area and figure out what we were going to set up, where everything was going to go, test everything, point out to everything. Telecom was really supported and was there to help us move. So we physically moved in on Friday, March the 13th. Our goal was to be up and running by Monday, March the 16th, because we were basically needing to cut our phone lines over in the union and turn them on over in the library. So you can see here, this is a new help desk space co-located with the library support space also. So we still maintained our services over in the union through the weekend on that Saturday and Sunday with operational things going on over there. Now, think COVID-19 planning by the entire campus. That's what happened. And by then, we were going to have to go fully online for the remainder of the spring term. So we were only over in the library for that Monday. By the next day on Tuesday, March the 16th, we had to be out. March the 17th. So on March the 16th, we spent approximately a day setting up our beautiful new area, getting accommodated with it. We were just like, oh, this is going to be great. And then we were told we have to evacuate the building. We have to go online. We have to set up everything we needed to set up to be ready to get ready to support the campus online. So the library let us know to vacate, and we transitioned to a fully remote support environment.
And so, as Waldo mentioned, on the 17th, we got our walking papers, so to speak, basically saying you need to go and work at home. Students need to work at home. And so we got all the IT help desk phone calls forwarded to personal cell phones via the administrative console over at the telecom offices. And for our daily hours, we went ahead and rolled over to Zoom. So we were able to use Zoom sessions, and this would go on all day long. We'd have our consoles open on everybody's computers across campus, well, at everyone's home, I should say. And we would be there. So for example, you see myself, Vernon, Waldo, Anthony, we're all there to answer questions for our students if they came across non-standard situations or things that needed clarification. Made it really easy to do consultations with the students so we could have continued support for our customers. We also did live OJT training for student employees. We just finished the formal part of their training. So we would have everyone come into the primary room, and we'd have breakout sessions for an existing consultant and the new student just coming out of training, so they could be monitored and they could work and they could talk back and forth and learn the manual steps of the help desk as they got used to the information and compiled all of that for long-term being on their own. We did get to add licenses to our BOMGAR. BOMGAR is a remote access control program that we are allowed to help our customers view their screens, take control of the computer. We added more licenses so that way we could share the BOMGAR with other IT groups across campus, so we are all able to do more for our customers with that remote access and continue the appropriate level of support. It was really nice to have the extra licenses available. As you remember, the week of March 17th was the 1-week extension for spring break. While that was going on, we were using that time to help all of our faculty members to go ahead and pull things together and get their VPN working, get their videos and content and media site. We converted so many courses to online, it wasn't funny. We answered questions about pre-recording sessions using Zoom, using media site, whatever it happens to be. And then also questions about how to use Zoom in the classroom and how to get connected to everybody. On July 1st, and this is going to be the nice part, we plan to return to HALE Library. All of the units at K-State have to submit a reawakening plan. So that will be in line with the university guidelines. And that would include social distancing, face masks, plexiglass shields on face-to-face close-up contact. And then also we have to work out procedures for cleaning and wiping down all of the work areas and the equipment. If you can imagine, you know, one student coming in using the computer and leaving, and the next student comes in, we have to clean all of that out and make sure that we're always ready for the next person to come in. We also will have 3 consultation rooms. If you look at the picture for the April-July 2020, on the left-hand side of that picture, you see some glass rooms separated out by a bit of wall. We'll have consultation rooms there, so we'll have someone at the front desk to answer questions real quick, and then if we have to do further work, we have those consultation rooms that allow more social distancing and separation for safety and security. One student will staff the IT help desk. We will have markers on the floor to designate every 6 feet for the social distancing. And we continue to work on processes for situations such as, what if a customer brings in a laptop for assistance? So they've had it with them, hands all over it. We don't know if they've been coughing or sneezing. So we need to figure out how we can work with that laptop to keep them safe and still get the antivirus setup or the wireless setup or whatever it is the customer needs. We have to answer the question, how can we protect our students when we have to handle the equipment provided by somebody else? So there are still some questions that we need to answer. And next, Rebecca will talk about some of our takeaways.
And this, Fred, if you go back one. Thank you. So this is just a picture the university released in the last week these footprints that printing services will provide for us to show the 6 feet. So just to show you that. And then one other thing we learned today is the university is disabling all water fountains. So everybody's going to have to bring their own water for a safety measure, health and safety measure. So what were our takeaways from transitioning from HALE to the union to COVID-19 and back to HALE? It's all about the people. I really appreciated what Dr. Burns Wallace said yesterday. It is truly all about the people. Our students stepped up in both cases. As Anthony would share with you, our students could have stayed home during COVID-19 and still be paid. But in both instances, after the HALE fire and after COVID-19, they were calling us asking what they could do. I will tell you, we had students come help us inventory equipment. Like Anthony said, it was more than a year before air conditioning was returned to HALE, full air conditioning on all floors. So students would help us with all that in 90 degrees and stay in the building for as long as it took to get the job done. So we can't thank our students enough. The other, I just keep thinking about the Kansas work ethic. The other thing is about our staff have been so resilient. Imagine being displaced. And like I said, tomorrow will be 2 years, being displaced in 1/10 of the space, all the unknowns. You don't have the equipment. Some got out with their equipment, but I can tell you in HALE, we had hundreds of fire drills. And this was the one that mattered. And some of us took our equipment out. Some of us didn't take our equipment out. And so we had to make sure we replaced all the equipment. But the staff have been truly resilient and amazing in their support and their willingness to be displaced for until COVID-19 and then to work remotely.
One of the things that we learned as IT support people in our difficult environment in this situation was that we had to remain extremely agile. So we believe that we've always been agile because being in IT, you always have to be ready for change and alterations and keeping up with current trends and everything. However, after the HALE fire and COVID-19, we feel extremely agile now. We have gone through the major agile training with this event that's happened to us. With the need for us to repeatedly displace and be ready to get things ready to go and get things working in different and unique ways, we had to be ready to focus wherever we needed to be at. So we're proud to say that the help desk students have considered the mission to be very critical and have done what needed to be done and have stepped up whenever they needed to step up and helped us to continue to move forward. Using Zoom has been a major plus in that it allows us to constantly work with our students to address their needs. And we feel even when we move back into HALE, we'll still continue to use Zoom because our current structure layout with the office spaces for staff has us in the back and the students in the front. So we will probably have Zoom windows running constantly and have tier 1 and tier 2 support available in a timely manner so that they can just simply queue up and ask a question from their desk locations out front. COVID-19 has been therapeutic for us in many ways. You've got to remember that we spent almost 2 years packed into what I call the sardine can. Everybody else laughs at me when I say that, but it was literally that. To get around each other, we had to squeeze between chairs and say, excuse me a lot, and just work closely together. So COVID-19 has been very therapeutic for us and given us some breathing time and some breathing space, which was well needed. So we're ready to get back into the game and get started in July.
So do you have any questions of us?
Okay, I'm not seeing any questions.
One thought I would share with individuals, if Fred will show the picture of the new help desk, something else that's new for us. Perfect. So if you look, if you can see in the back where those white shelves are and that purple wall, behind that are all the staff cubicles. And what's new to us is we have moved from being a self-contained unit. So now even the staff, the full-time staff, are co-located with the library staff. So that will be new for us as well, to learn how to work, to learn how to interact with one another in a big, wide open space. So I just wanted to share that as well.
Okay, still no questions. If you have questions, go ahead and submit the form, and even if it's after the presentation, and we can get those questions emailed to the presenters. All right, thank you, everybody there at Kansas State University. And thank you to all the participants, everyone who attended. That wraps up this session. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Cheryl.
Thank you,
Kudos,
All
Cheryl.
right, thank you.
kudos on a
Thank
great
you.
virtual conference.